I've heard people had conversation how they bought land in Nigeria, and some of them will say, I bought 500 square meter. Another one will say, I bought 120 by 60 square feet. And another one will say, I bought an acre. But the real question is, do they truly understand what they are saying? So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining the land sizes and measurement that are used in Nigerian real estate land transaction. And this topic is very important if you're in Nigeria based in diaspora planning to own land right here in Nigeria, because what is obtainable in UK or in US sometimes are not obtainable in Nigeria. So that's why you need to pay keen attention from the beginning of this video till the end. So before we dive deep into today's discussion, there are a few things that we need to understand because that is going to help us in today's discussion. So the first term is what we call plot of land. So many people misunderstand what a plot of land is. So a plot of land simply means a specified portion of land with defined boundaries which can be owned, sold, or developed. So it basically means a size of land that has specified boundaries. So that's why when you are buying a land right here in Nigeria, you have things like beacons. So beacons are basically what indicates the boundaries of the property that you want to buy. And that boundary is what makes it to be called what? A plot of land. Now, the second term is what we call land size. So land size basically means the size of a land. And another term is what we call land measurement. So land measurements are units that are used in measuring land. So when you want to buy land, those units that are used to measure land, that is what we call land measurement. So there are about four of them that are used in Nigeria. So first we have what we call the meter, then we have what we call square meter, then we have feet, and then square feet. So these four are the normal units of measurements that are used in real estate transaction. But most time, what is commonly used right here in Nigeria, especially when you're dealing with a real estate company, is this particular one, square meter. So that's why when you buy land, sometimes you see things like 1,000 square meter, 500 square meter, 760 square meter. But this is what is mostly obtainable right here in Nigeria. And this is very important. If you're an investor planning to invest back home right here in Nigeria, it's very important that you understand this measurement. Then before we move further, I've heard people talk about when they want to buy land, most especially from prospects. I've had prospects reach out to me and they're saying, oh, I need a full plot. I need a full plot of land right here in Enugu. And what's the size? Please, I want to buy. So there's one thing that we need to understand. There's no a standard land size for a full plot of land in Nigeria. It varies based on the location where you are buying from. So by that, I mean that what is obtainable in Abuja might not be obtainable in Enugu. And what is obtainable in Enugu is not obtainable in places like Lagos. So take, for instance, in Lagos, we have a land size that's for full plots. The land size for full plots in Lagos is 150 feet to that's 60 feet. That's for Lagos. So here, right here in Southeast, especially in Enugu, where I am currently, we have what we call 50 feet by 100 feet. So this is what is obtainable in Enugu, and this is obtainable in Lagos. So that's why when you are buying land in different locations, if you're an investor, you invested greatly in Nigeria, you notice that land sizes in different locations where you bought land, you notice that they are not the same. So another thing that we need to consider for the land size, we talked about the land measurements, which is this. Then we are talking about the sizes of land that are obtainable in Nigeria. One of the things that will help us in today's discussion is this calculation right here. So this is 1 square meter, which is approximately 10.676 square feet. So when you do the conversion, this is what is going to give you. So that's what we're going to use for our calculation. So for instance, I mentioned earlier that 120 square feet by 60 is what is obtainable in Lagos. So when you multiply these two, you should be getting around 7,200 square feet. I hope you understand why it is square feet, because it is feet by feet. That's why it is square feet. And then for places like Enugu, we'll be having like 5,000 square feet. So when you now convert this, I mentioned earlier that what the major unit of measurement that we use is a square meter. So we're going to convert this and this to square meter so that it will help us in our calculation. So for square meter, when we convert this 7,600, when you divide this by this, that's 7,200 divided by 10.76, you should be getting around 669 square meter. This is what you're going to get. So this is why most time when you buy properties in Lagos, if you ever bought properties in Lagos, most of the time you see something around this 669 square meter, because that's what they consider as full plot in Lagos. But sometimes it can be a little bit below this, especially when you are buying from a real estate company, because there's going to be things like demarcation, um, beaconing, road construction. So because of those other things that are incorporated in the estate, is going to take some things here. So we'll be having around, let's just say 600 square meter. So this is what is considered as full plot in Lagos if you are buying properties in Lagos. That does not mean it cannot be below this, but it's something around this area that is considered as a full plot. But right here in Enugu, so when you divide this by this, should be giving you around 10, around, 5,000 divided by 10.76 should be around 465 square meter. This is what you're going to get if you are doing the division. So right here in Enugu, so when you buy properties, you get things like 500 square meter, 460 something square meter, or even anything above square meter. So what is obtainable right here in Enugu is around this square meter. So most time, real estate company make use of 500 square meter as their measurement for standard plots. So you find out that what you have in Lagos and what you have in Enugu are not the same. So that's why when you want to buy land, don't use a particular measurement that you got in a particular state and you want to use that to quantify what is obtainable in another state. Is not the same. There's no standard land size for full plots in Nigeria. It varies with location. So the next thing that we need to consider is acres and hectares. So these have been one of the, will I say, been a lot of confusion. I've been causing a lot of confusion to investors who want to buy land. So some of them don't really understand what an acre is and then what an a hectare is. So there's a standard measurement for an acre that's globally, not just in Nigeria. So the standard measurement is 4,047 square meter. This is the standard measurement for an acre globally, not just in Nigeria. So when you divide this by this, so this 4,047 square meter by this our square meter here for places like Lagos, so you should be getting around 6 plots of land. I hope you understand the maths. So, like I told you earlier, that this 669 is what we get when you divide. That's when you are converting for 7,200 square feet to square meter. It's giving you this. So we divided the globally recognized standard for an acre by this, so it now give us 6 plots. That's when you are buying a properties in Lagos and you're talking about acre, most time is 6 plots. But when you divide this same acre in Enugu by this standard, this 465 for Enugu, so you should be getting around 8 plots of land. That's by this measurement. You should be getting around this. That's for Enugu. So you notice that there's a difference. So that's why you cannot compare what is obtainable in another location with what is obtainable in another location. So you need to understand what they use as their measurements for land sizes when you are trying to buy land in any location right here in Nigeria. So consider for acre for Lagos, we are getting 6 plots, and then for Enugu, we are getting 8 plots. But there's a common understanding in Enugu State real estate market. So they still understand that 6 plots of land makes up an acre, even when that's when you are trying to sell to clients. So they also let clients know that 6 plots, even if it's 500 square meter, even if it's 550 square meter, even if it's 450 square meter, they also tell me that 6 plots of that particular land size makes up an acre. right here in Enugu. So, but according to the standard, this is global standard 4,400, 4,000 for 7 square meter. That's an acre. Then we move to hectare. So hectare is 10,000 square meter. This is global standard 10,000 square meter for global standard of land size of a hectare. Then, but when you bring it down to Nigeria, places like Lagos, let's use Lagos as an instance. So we're going to divide this 10,000 by this 669 square meter. So when you divide 10,000 square meter by 669 square meter, it is going to give you around 15 plots of land. 15 plots of land. So this is what you're going to get if you do the math. So you notice that hectare globally is recognized as 10,000 square meter, but right here in Nigeria, using Lagos as an instance, we're getting 15 plots of land. So when you're buying from an estate company and they're telling you, oh, we are doing a promo for a hectare of land, selling us so amount of money, just know they are talking about 15 plots of land in that particular location. So it's also the same thing that is obtainable. So this 15 plots of land basically means 2.5 plots of an acre. That 2.5 of an acre of acres, that's acres of land, is equals to 1 hectare of land. So that's what it means. I hope you understand the math. So this also is very obtainable right here in Enugu. So when we sell to clients, especially when we are doing promo for any of our properties, so we normally tell clients, if you are buying a hectare of land, you're going to get 2.5 acres, which is going to give you approximately 15 plots of land. So that's what it's all about. I hope you understand this calculation. So we talked about, just a quick recap. We talked about land sizes that are used in Nigeria and also the measurements. So the measurements, we started that these are what are obtainable: meters, feet, square meter, and square feet. So these are what are obtainable right here in Nigeria for land measurements. Then we talked about the sizes of land that are obtainable. We mentioned that it varies depending on the location. There's no standard land size for a full plot of land. It varies based on the location you are buying. We mentioned that Lagos has 120 feet by 60 feet. That's for a full plot of land. Why right here in Southeast, especially in Enugu, what we do is we have 50 feet by 100 feet. That is what is obtainable right here. And we do some calculations for you to understand it better. We talked about an acre and hectare. So an acre, according to standard, that's the global standard size of an acre, is 4,000 for 7 square meter. But we use Lagos as an instance. I say that if we convert, it's going to give you 6 plots of land. And we did the same for hectare. So for hectare, we're getting 10,000 square meter. And when we did the conversion to the number of plots, it gave us 15 plots of land. So that's what it means. So this topic is very important. If you're an investor, that will help you to know what you're expected to get when you want to buy land. It's also very important that when you are buying a property in Nigeria, especially when you are buying individual land or you're buying from a community, it is very good that you work with a professional. I'm talking about a licensed, registered surveyor, because they are the one that do this castle. They are the one that are in charge of parcellation of land that's into plots, and also they know how to do the math, use their instrument to do the measurement. So this is very important when you are buying from individual land, you're buying from a community. But if you are buying from a real estate company, they've already done the parcellation. So they tell you the sizes of land that are obtainable in their estate. So I hope you found value in this video. If you like this video, please consider to like, subscribe, and then follow along for more. My name is Obaleke Emmanuel. I'm a real estate consultant based in the city of Enugu. I create content like this to help smart individuals like you make secure and profitable real estate investment. And if you are looking to invest right here in the city of Enugu, I'm that real estate consultant that you need to reach out to. Just call the number showing on your screen and I will help you make the right investment. See you in the next one.